Welcome you to for the second part of the CPR that we have discussed about CPR range, narrow and wide yesterday, and that link is uh, noted on the above. Okay, and what is CPR and how to trade using CPR that we have discussed yesterday, and today we are going to see CPR opening trading. Okay, if the candle is opened above the R1, okay, and it is not even touched the CPR okay, of the day, or it is passing the previous day high. In that case, it fully supported by volume. It will be continuing the trend upside for a whole day. Okay, first instance. The second instance, first three candles, okay, below the support one, okay, and that means it has is already in with the CPR. That kind of situation supported by volume, it will be continuing the trend in the downside. The in first and second instance, both instances are might be a news test or support of positive basis or support of negative basis in different cases respectively. So we will directly switch to the chart and we will see the examples how we can trade on these bases. In this case, if you observe, let me see, the opening candle is continuously has traded above the R1 of the day. In that kind of situation, what is actually happening? Okay, if you observe on the downside, the volume is supported by the same. So in that kind of situation, what actually happens? If any stock or any bank nifty or any indices opening above the R1 and continuous three candles are holding the key levels there, means what? It is showing the strength of the day. And once it has shown a strength, might be there would be in the second or in some point of a time, it may take small dips and may continue the trend as you can see in the chart. Okay, one thing is very clear that why the R3 candle should be above the R1 in the opening. That doesn't mean that it is the rule. It is a that means that it has to show the strength for the sellers. Okay, we are going to stand here firmly to go upside. So that is why I'm talking about if the CPR above R1, it continuously three candles are holding in a 5 minutes chart, obviously there could be okay in a longer time frame it is safe to be a longer trend. In that kind of situation, twice things can be done. One is to buy the future, buy the calls, or at the same time you can start selling the puts to eat the premium decay, which is very healthy. Okay. In the second instance, if you want to see this one, I'm saying that if the opening is below the S1 of the day and below the CPR, in that kind of situation, what actually happens? Okay, the bearishness will be imbibed in the market. What is the reason that below S1 is found to be a bearish? The simple reason is that might be a very bad news in the market. Number one. Second is that there is a gap down. That is a reason that it is opening below the S1, and that is why it is going below continuously. Let's we check the sixth example in the chart. If you observe in this case, in bank nifty has opened below the S1, the same time it has even crossed the S2 also and S3, and it was a very bearish trend. And if you observe that continuously candles were bearish, okay, it's not a thing that they have said to be normal. Okay, one is a wide bearish candle, one is very low and very, very low, and we expect okay very less kind of a situation can means very small candles, not a wide bearish candle. Okay, this can be also be thought that okay it has opened below the S1 and it has continued the trade because of any bad news or any new disaster could have happened, any bombings on the Iran, Israel, all those could have been a major factor, this kind of a opening. Let me research some kind of example so that we can easily explain on this one. So this one is one of the example. Okay, and another example I can show you, same the things. Okay, here also, when the market has opened below the CPR, one more thing is CPR is almost narrow compared to yesterday, one number one, and it has made a gap down and it has crossed S1, S2, and resistance S3 also. Okay, and it has made wide bearish candle. If you are thinking to short below this one, it could be some kind of a foolishness. So because already it has made all those okay traveling of the day. So in that kind of situation, not to take any trades. And let's we see. Okay, we do not have such examples. Let me switch to one more example. In this case, this is the best example I have just found it. The Grasim has opened below the S1. If you observe this one, this is the S1. And after that, it has tried to go above the S1, but it has failed. And if you observe, the continuously it has retained below the S1, okay, and has continued the trade at the downside. So such examples are there. Once first instance we have studied that if it is opening above R1 or if it is opening at the R1 and continuously going upside and continuously three green candles are forming, and if we seeing any dips of low volume, we can buy into so. And in second instance, we are saying that if opening is below the S1 or near to S1 and it is going below the S1 and continuously holding that level for some while with volume supported moves are happening, in that kind of situation, obviously we are going to take short trade. Okay, let's we switch to the another point of view. Next we will see if the any stock or index is opening at R1 or if it is like open equal to high, and if the opening is at S1 or support 1, if it is open equal to low kind of a situation. In that kind of situation, what should be done? Okay. Okay. In this instance, if you observe, the bank nifty has opened between the CPR and S1. Okay, it has started to go down and has not reached the S1 number 1 point. Okay, second at S1 it has to kind of support second point with some kind of a volume. In that kind of situation, what should be done? The second instance one example I'm getting in the early, that's why I'm explaining about this one. So opening at S1, okay, in that kind of situation, it will be get attracted towards the CPR. In that kind of a situation, if you can easily observe this one, it has gone from 35,191 to 35,385. Okay, this kind of situation can be taken. Okay, in that kind of this is almost a gap down and is almost opening near to S1 and it has went near to the CPR. If it is breaching that level and if it is sustaining that kind of situation, if you observe CPR is narrow that we have discussed in the part 1 and has continued the trend till the end of the day. Okay, and second instance, one more thing is that yes, here we have one more example that if the stock or any index is opening at R1 or near to R1, if you observe in this kind of situation, it will be get attracted towards the CPR. Okay, the same thing has happened and it has continued the trend till has continued the trend until at this 3 p.m. in afternoon, and thereafter that has started reversing. So this is the second type of a technique that where it is opening. If you can observe the situations, so many examples you can find. So if you observe one more example here, it has opened equal to low or near to S1 and it has get attracted towards the CPR, and after reaching the CPR, if you observe that even CPR is narrow, it has continued trend upward. Unless we see some more example if we find it. Okay. Even if you can observe this one, even the CPR is a wider range edge, but if it is opening near to the R1, it will be get attracted towards the CPR. Okay, and so, yeah, we have examples. Okay, one more example you can see here. It was gap down. Okay, opened near to the S1. In the first instance, it has went up and has touched the CPR. And just observe that if the CPR is narrow, if it continues and holds the upper level, it will be continuing trend. If it is not, okay, it's gap down. Okay, volume is not supposed to move upside in that kind of situation. Reversal trade should be taken. Okay. Next, we see so many examples kind of situations. Okay. Okay. This also examples can be considered because if you observe, it is a huge gap down on the day. But first thing is first that it is S1, S2, and S3. In this kind of situation also, okay, it has get attracted towards the CPR, and thereafter that, because after the so much traveling, it has went down. Okay, this is how the opening has to be considered. Gap down is opening at S1 or S2, S3. Obviously, what happens? The yesterday whoever holds the trade, they will cover their trade. That is why it will be get attracted towards the CPR. At this range, they will get out with a cost to cost with or with some loss, small loss or a small profit. That is why this kind of a situation arises, that attraction towards the CPR. CPR means we have discussed that low plus high plus close, and that pivot will be I get attracted towards. Okay, in this kind of situation also, if you can observe that, okay, we have discussed in the first instance that R1, okay, above R1, if it is opening, if continues three candles are holding the level, now obviously there is a chance that it may move upside with that kind of situation, it will be considered trendy. But in this kind of situation, if you observe that it has opened R1 and has touched to R2, when it has get rejected from R1 and R2, okay, when breached that, this is the where it has taken a support. So this is how the CPR trading should be made. And we are going to discuss in the third part, then when if it is stock or indices opening at the CPR, and when it has can go upside, if it is opening at the CPR, or if it is opening at CPR, when it can go to the S1. That kind of situation we will discuss in the third part. But before that, this kind of a situation should be checked, and even revision and backtesting should be made. And if this with the same backtest, some we should do forward testing for the our confirmation at the instance of earning the things. But just remind that comparison of a CPR the day by day, and if narrow range is there, take a trendy day. If wide ranges, make it is as a sideway trade, and where it is opening and how to trade, that is also makes important lessons for us. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this part 2, and we will come with the third part. Then we will have a lot of things to learn.